Hello there from Blackpool Seafront once again. It's Tuesday the 7th of February 2023 and it's day 2 of the big one Retrack, and I think today is the day where all of the work in terms of the new track being lifted in will be completed. So to recap on where things are up to so far, yesterday there was 5 sections of track lifted in. One of them was an old piece of track that has been returned, it's been refurbed, repainted, and then there was 4 new sections that went in alongside that one. Today it's very much the same, 4 new sections going in and one of the older sections going back in. So the new track has been manufactured by Taziker. They are a Lancashire based company. They've been working with Blackpool Pleasure Beach now since 2019 on retracking the big one. They've now got a new division as part of their company called Taziker Coasters, and they are now working with more than just Blackpool Pleasure Beach to retrack classical roller coasters. So they're a company to keep an eye on as the years go on, as I think we'll be seeing there little bits of retracking work all over the country and all over the world, to be honest. So if you'd like to know more about them, I will put a link in the description to a behind the scenes video at Taziker from a couple of years ago, and also I'll link back to my IAPA video from September 2022 where I did quite a long interview with the MD of Taziker. So behind me the crane driver is setting up the crane for the day, and then they'll do a little bit of testing with some different weights, and then the new track, which will be going up, will be brought round by a lorry driver, and then a couple of guys will fasten it all up, and then the track will be lifted up and loaded into place. It's something that will take place all day. It's currently about 8:05 in the morning. I reckon I'll still be here about 2-3 o'clock in the afternoon, but sometimes they do it really quickly and sometimes it takes a while. It really does depend on each section of track, and it's something that all the guys that work on it really don't know how long or how quick it's going to take until they're actually doing it. So there's no sort of it should take this long or this quickly when they're doing it. It takes as long as it takes and it has to be done right. And the guys working on it, they do it all the time. They're always here doing this retracking work, so they always do it really well. And I think Blackpool Pleasure Beach really do trust external contractors that work on this project, because it's always the same faces when this work's going on, which shows that they're good, reliable people. One last thing before we get to the bulk of the action in this video, it will be a mix of footage of the track being lifted on, set to music, and also me talking through it at times. And anything I think of to talk about during this video, I'll probably just open the camera up like I'm doing and just have a little bit of a chat over the footage. Also, if you do enjoy this kind of content on this channel, please hit that thumbs up button, because it really does help the channel so much. Thank you very much, and let's get into it. One big piece of track. It looks like it could fill the whole gap, but camera perspective's a funny old thing, but that is a big piece of track. There goes some Blackpool illuminations as well. the last couple of months, everyone has been calling for Blackpool Pleasure Beach to do more on social media, especially when it comes to showing the engineering and the winter works. And of course, Blackpool Pleasure Beach have been doing that in the last couple of weeks, especially since the end of November. And today, as part of that, they have invited the press. So I think it's reasonable to assume there's going to be more coverage of this Retrack than just my own this year. I think we're going to see it on BBC, ITV, and a couple of the local newspapers like the Gazette, like Lancs Live, covering this story. And I think that's great because it really does give people at Blackpool Pleasure Beach the appreciation they deserve for doing all of the hard work over the closed season, because it has so often gone unnoticed and undiscussed and just ignored, whereas I think it's something that should be shouted about, because a lot of people put in a lot of work over the winter to get these rides running in time for opening weekend. Some insight better than my insight, than my blundering when I'm talking about it?
I think you do a very good job, to be fair. Looking at your videos, you're pretty accurate with most information. I think you know the story regarding Tazikers, you know what we do here, and obviously we're changing all 103 metres this year that we did last year and the year before that, so we just continue changing the track as things to go over the next few years. We'll be doing at least another 400 metres a track over the next few years, probably a bit more. I don't know yourself, and not everybody who rides it feels certain areas want improving sooner rather than later, but we've got to look at both sides of it, whether it's fatigue or corrosion or just general the comfort of the ride. We want to decide what we change first.
And to keep it quick, one last question: what is the process once you've done the retracking, once the track's in? When does it sort of get decided that you can do the testing? What do you have to do now, basically?
Well, basically we have to get it all levelled up, lined up, bolted up, get it all secure. We've got to put the platform back in, the evacuation platform. We've got another evacuation platform back at the hotel first to put back in, and then safety lines, and then we'll decide to do some testing. At that point we'll do a few trial dry runs with nobody in, with put it loaded with sandbags, lead bags, and then we'll do some accelerometer testing on it, and then we'll ride it after that.
Cool, thank you very much, Wayne, and everyone that's watching, please show your appreciation to Wayne and all of his team for looking after the big one for us. Here's the 10th and final piece of the 4th Taziker Retrack on the big one, 2023. This is the smallest piece, I think, of this Retrack, and the last piece. So of course everyone's going to be hoping that this one fits, which I'm sure it will do. Once again, big shout out to all the guys involved and done a cracking job with this, and they seem to do it quicker every year. So coming to the end of this retracking video from Blackpool Pleasure Beach, or I should say from Blackpool Seafront looking into Blackpool Pleasure Beach. I know, as always, it's been great to watch this and great to follow the progress right from the minute that the track was taken out, checking out the construction of the track at Taziker, and then watching the new track going in on the big one. It's always been a fascinating project for me to watch ever since the first time I saw Pleasure Beach doing this in the early 2000s, and all the way through to now. Of course, Taziker and Blackpool Pleasure Beach have been collabing for the last 4 years on this, but the big one has had retracks before. If you'd like to know about those and a bit more about the history of retracking the big one at Blackpool Pleasure Beach, please let me know in the comments section below, and I'll definitely cover that in more detail, because I think it is a very interesting subject, the retracking of the big one at Blackpool Pleasure Beach. There's been a lot of it. First one 1997, second one was in the late 90s, 99, 2000 kind of time. Then there was plenty in the 2000s, and of course there's been a few in the last couple of years, all for different reasons and all for very interesting reasons, let's say. So as we come to the end of this video, I'm going to ask again, and this will be the last time I ask in this video, I promise. If you have enjoyed this video and you have enjoyed the coverage of all the big one retrack stuff that's been going on, please give it a thumbs up, please leave us a comment, and let us know which parts of the big one you'd like to see retrack next. Finally, massive thank you to all the people involved for once again prolonging the life of the big one, but also for being great people and always being very helpful if I've ever asked anything or needed to know anything whilst filming this stuff. They're great people, great at the job, and of course they're looking after the big one, so all us Pleasure Beach fans really do appreciate that. Many thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next video.